In a surprise audio message, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made an announcement that he will be undertaking an 11-day Anushthan ahead of the grand consecration ceremony of the Ram Mandir on the 22nd of January. It was an emotional message to the nation in which he expressed how fortunate he was feeling to be able to witness this auspicious occasion. Well, Anushthan means a committed and disciplined spiritual routine or ritual. It is an effort to connect with higher energy, seek blessings and achieve spiritual development as well. This ritual operates off a slew of rules including self-service, fasting, sleeping on the floor and a lot of other rules that are fundamental for its proper completion and execution. With that in mind, through the course of this telecast, we will be delving into the ritual of Anushthan, its significance and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's decision to embrace this devotional ritual ahead of the consecration ceremony. Joining us on the show to talk more about this is Uma Anandan, BJP councillor. Also joining us on the show is Siddharth S. Kumar, Hindu Dharma Guru. Acharya Vikramaditya, Hindu Dharma Guru, also joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Siddharth S. Kumar, I'll begin with you. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, Vineet.
Good to have you, Siddharth. What do you make of this pledge that the Prime Minister has taken in the lead up to the consecration ceremony? How does it basically also explain the solemnness and the dedication with which the Prime Minister has worked towards making this dream a reality for a billion plus Hindus?
Certainly, Vineet, definitely coming from a Prime Minister. And with that, he was at a position where he could have simply skipped it out or may not have followed it that diligently. But when it comes, he's not only the Prime Minister, but also he's the carrier of all those souls of India who has been waiting, who has sacrificed their life to witness this historic moment. And we are fortunate enough that we are witnessing this historic moment in our lifetime. As a Prime Minister doing this commitment and with his all routine and schedule, this is really commendable, and this is going to really set a tone not as a person but also as a spiritual attainment or the development of a Prime Minister and the thought process he carries. So certainly it's going to be a great indicator for the country as well as for him as well, and this is going to bring bliss to him and the country.
Well said, Siddharth. Uma Nandanji, what do you say is going to be the significance of the Prime Minister has done? Obviously when it comes from the Prime Minister himself at that particular level, the seriousness and the solemnness with which Hindus, take the Ayodhya temple is definitely very, very visible.
See, definitely the previous panelists have spoken very well. It is very heartening to see the Prime Minister of the country following all the dictum of performing this very, very historical moment for all of us. See, we are all fortunate to be present, to have lived at this time when this temple is being, the Pran Pratishtha is taking place for the Ram temple. We are all very fortunate. We have been waiting for this particular day, and some of us perhaps did not even have hopes of such a thing happening. But now that this is happening and we have the Prime Minister himself performing it, following all the norms that is required for him to perform this, not taking it as very lightly or in a laissez-faire attitude. He's not doing that. It's very, very appreciable that the Prime Minister is doing all this. Let me tell you one more thing. It is very obvious that he has taken it so seriously that it is just not a publicity gimmick or, like the other people are saying. It is not for the sake of doing it as a BJP person. It is not that. He is doing it as a Sanatana Dharmik who is following all the rules, the rules that have been laid down by our scriptures. He has consulted the seers, the acharyas of our religion. He has taken their advice and he is also, following that. I think so much is to be appreciated in this. Not doing it for the sake of doing it as a prime minister, but trying to imbibe all that is told that has to be followed. This may not be an Agama temple, but still, Ram temple in Ayodhya is every Sanatani's dream, and that is happening in our lifetime. And none other than the Prime Minister leading it, performing it with all serious intentions, with all very, very sincere attempts to follow what our scriptures have been telling. I think it is a visual delight also, something that is very, very satisfactory for our own, every Sanatani individual of this country.
Acharya Vikramaditya ji, if you're there with us. Okay, let me go back to Siddharth. Siddharth, also try and explain to our viewers, what this pledge is all about. How is it also about, not only cleansing the soul and the body, but it is also about sending a message, being prepared and, be basically be showcased as a practicing devoted Hindu.
Definitely, Vineet. Coming to the process, it is all about achieving a purification at the stage of mind, body, and soul. So, this complete process creates a synergy of the human being with the universe where both the energies are in sync and prepared to be the part of that Pran Pratishtha. The Pran Pratishtha as a ritual is a fortunate gift which rare people gets. And with this such landmark situation it comes with lot of steps. If I talk about mind purification, then it talks about devoting yourself to the spirituality, speaking no lies, being truthful, your dharma, the path of your karma, which is doing. Coming to the soul, it is the same very spiritual cleansing that you are having with what you eat, what you drink, everything is getting cleansed. It is advisable that one should go only with water or water plus fruits, and the person chooses as per his own capabilities and convenience. And then it is something like scheduling your complete lifestyle in a manner, from the waking up in a Brahm Muhurata to taking bath. Definitely the people also use snan mantras to energize those waters, taking the holy waters from holy rivers like Ganga to have your water getting purified. It's a complete ritual. You devote yourself to a Trikal Sandhya where you are devoting yourself to the spirituality, to the Lord Ram, and following the complete path. It makes sure you practice a path of dharma where your mind, body, and soul, all these three are cleaned, purified, and eligible to be the part of this fortunate event of Pran Pratishtha.
Well said. Umanandanji, let's talk about the process and the procedure as well. Siddharth S. Kumar has already stated that, it is not stringent in nature. It allows for a lot of flexibility to the person who's devoted to following it. How would you interpret it?
See, flexibility, because our ancient texts, sacred texts, have laid down the norms for everything. And to do the Prana Pradishta, what is to be done in general, leave alone whether it's an Agama temple or a non-Agama temple. But whatever any Prana Pradishta of temple, what has to be followed? This has been laid down by our ancient texts, sacred texts. And Mr. Modi has taken it so sincerely that he wants to follow it. And this is what? It is not a question of flexibility. I would say it is a question of your commitment, your sincerity to what has to be done, the do's and the don'ts of all acts concerned with our Sanatana Dharma, everything. So, he can be flexible, but the Prime Minister has taken it upon himself to sincerely follow what has been laid down and not compromising on that. For a man of his position, he could have easily, simply, not even spoken about all that. He need not have consulted our seers, our acharyas. He could have simply walked inside that day on January 22nd, just done it as a, formality and walked out. No. This Prime Minister has taken his task. It is the dream it is the well, I wouldn't even say it is a dream. I would say it has been the utmost desire of every sincere Hindu of our nation. And this being done at our times, and to see the Prime Minister performing it with all the commitment, with all the sincerity, taken it as a serious thing to say, I'm going to follow even in my food habits, everything, and to even, sleep as per the dictum. I think one has to appreciate all this for a man of his stature, for a man of his position, to take it upon himself, not to play to the gallery, but to do as it has been told, as it has been mentioned by our acharyas, by our sacred texts, everything, to follow that. I think my heartfelt gratitude to the Prime Minister of this country for fulfilling the desire of the millions, and also trying to give us the happiness of trying to say that even though he is the Prime Minister, he is going to follow what has to be followed in such ceremonial functions.
Right.
I think that is what is very, very gratifying.
That's the exact word. Gratifying is the word, Siddharth. And of course, this is also an inspiration for, millions of Hindus who, just like you also said, are fortunate enough to see this consecration ceremony in their lifetime. Perhaps this is, an overture towards beginnings that, our culture and Sanatan Dharma has always been waiting for.
True. Very true.
Siddharth, how would you respond to this? Is it really a beginning that millions of us could take inspiration from? And especially, Sanatan Dharma, Siddharth, has been in the news, predominantly for good reasons, but for some wrong reasons as well. There is also some light that needs to be shed on that. I'll get a response from Siddharth, and then of course, Uma Nandanji, I'll take a response from you. Siddharth?
So definitely this is more of a commitment, and that should be every one of us. At this point of time when we are speaking, we are one of the youngest nations of the world with a majority of population below the age of 30 or 35. For the people like us, this is a moment of inspiration where the person of his responsibility, of his stature, can devote his commitment to this noble cause, then a normal human being like us who do our routine work can also find out time from our hectic life and devote ourselves to aligning our goals and visions to the universe. So this is really a big inspiration and a big message, like a statesman or like a true guardian which the youth of this country, or rather every human being, can learn from him. Because if we talk about of ourselves, we have a life to look, we have a job to look after, we have a business to look after. But with Narendra Modi ji, considering he's the Prime Minister of the country, he has n number of things to look after. Even after those commitments and the responsibilities, his commitment is in itself a testament of his honesty, or the ethics, or the determination and the willingness to get indulged at all his level of mind, body, and soul of this divine fortune moment. So this is indeed a great inspiring lesson for each one of us, and we should inspire and try to imbibe a lot of these practices in our lives, and should make sure that we go to the next level.
All right, Uma Nandanji, you had a point to make. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, definitely, because there were times, and we have had prime ministers who have been virulent attack on Sanatana Dharma. And another thing, sometimes we have even had prime ministers who have been ashamed to say that they are practicing Hindus. And we have had a previous government which said Rama was a mythical character, and the Ram Setu by itself is not a monument. All this. See, those were the trying times for us Hindus to go through and to be ruled by such people. And now Mr. Narendra Modi has come as a whiff of fresh air, trying to proclaim to the world that every one of us can proudly claim from rooftops that I am a Sanatani, without being embarrassed, without being ashamed, but on the contrary, with great pride. we can call that our ancient living civilization is what matters today, and Ram temple in Ayodhya is what matters today. And so many of us, we're all lucky to have been living at this time to witness this fantastic event that is happening, to proclaim to the world once again that we are the only living civilization in the world, and this is one of the events which strengthens that. And again, to have a prime minister to proudly perform this is the icing on the cake, I would say.
All right. Well, we also have Acharya H.S. Rawat, a Hindu Dharma Guru, who's joined us on the program. आचार्य जी, हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं? आचार्य जी, अगर आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं तो जवाब दीजिए.
जी, मैं आवाज़ आपकी सुन पा रहा हूँ.
जी, प्रधानमंत्री ने जो प्रण लिया है ये अयोध्या मंदिर के उद्घाटन से 11 दिन पहले का, उसके लिए उसके प्रति आपकी क्या प्रतिक्रिया है और किस तरीके से ये हिंदू धर्म का एक विस्तार रूप से प्रमाण देता है?
देखिए, मैं इसमें आपको अष्टांग योग के माध्यम से आध्यात्मिक और वैज्ञानिक और वायुवैज्ञानिक इसका आधार मैं आपको बताता हूं कि जो 8 से 10 दिन तक जो प्रण लिया जाता है प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करने से पहले, उसका आधार क्या है. आधार ये होता है कि जब कोई भी प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करता है, कोई भी यजमान प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करता है, भगवान की जो मूर्ति होती है उसमें जब वेद मंत्रों का जाप चारों तरफ से किया जाता है, उस समय पर वो मूर्ति बिल्कुल पवित्र होती है. तो उस मूर्ति के ऊपर प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करने वाला व्यक्ति भी बहुत पवित्र होना चाहिए. उसके लिए यम, नियम, आसन, इन चीजों का हमें कहीं ना कहीं पालन करना पड़ता है. यम का मतलब यह है कि आप अपने खाने पीने पर बहुत शुद्धता रखें, आप झूठ न बोलें, आप मौन व्रत करने की कोशिश करें, आपके दिमाग में कोई बुरे विचार नहीं आने चाहिए, आपको ब्रह्मचर्य का पालन करना चाहिए, आपको अपना भोजन सात्विक रखना चाहिए, आपको 8 से 10 दिन तक वो व्रत करना चाहिए, जिससे का आपके जो प्राण हैं, अपान प्राण, व्यान प्राण, समान प्राण, उदान प्राण, और जो आपकी पांचों इंद्रियां हैं और पांचों जो उपप्राण होते हैं, नाग, देवव्रत, कर्कल, कूर्म, ये जो प्राण हैं इनकी शुद्धि के लिए होता है. ये जब जो मनुष्य होता है उसका जो प्योर ब्लड वो अंदर से शुद्ध हो जाता है, उसकी आत्म शुद्धि हो जाती है, उसकी इंद्रियां शुद्धि हो जाती हैं, और जब वो प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करते हैं तो भगवान के सामने उसी प्रकार की शुद्ध आत्मा एक खड़ी होती है यजमान के तौर पर. वही उनकी प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर सकती है, क्योंकि वेद मंत्रों के माध्यम से जो चारों तरफ हाई एनर्जी होती है, उस मनुष्य के अंदर जो प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करता है उसकी भी बहुत हाई एनर्जी होती है. उस एनर्जी के अंदर किसी प्रकार की नेगेटिव एनर्जी नहीं होनी चाहिए, तो जाकर के वो प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करने के अधिकारी होते हैं. इसलिए कोई भी यजमान जब प्राण प्रतिष्ठा किसी मंदिर की करता है तो उस समय पर उनको इस तपस्या का सामना करना ही पड़ता है, और ये एक प्रकार का तप होता है, और वो तप प्रधानमंत्री जी कर रहे हैं, और निश्चित तौर पर वो इस बात को जानते हैं कि मैं प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करूंगा तो मुझे किस हालात में रहना है. जैसे नवरात्रे लगातार वो 9 दिन तक नींबू के जल के ऊपर रहते हैं, इसी प्रकार से मुझे लगता है जो वहां के जो कर्मकांडी विद्वान हैं उन लोगों ने उनको बताया होगा, लेकिन उनको खुद भी इस बात का ज्ञान है कि तपस्या कैसे की जाती है और कैसे अपनी अंदर की आत्मशुद्धि की जाती है.
Right. Siddharth, how do you respond to that?
So definitely, definitely, this sounds logical. The very same thing that I was mentioning in the beginning of the show. It is all about attaining that stage of purification. So, and this purification will come at all the stage, whether it's your man, that your mind, whether it's a body, the physical, the body of 5 elements that we carry, or our soul. This all the 3 need to be aligned to be purified in this life. Second thing, when it comes from a person like of his stature of a prime minister with his day-to-day responsibility, and he is something who is known for that. That as Acharya Rawat ji mentioned, he is someone who is doing for Navratri. So this is something he has been on that path before as well, and taking this path and being a prime minister, coming and speaking to your nation and talking about what you are going through at this point of time, this also shows the resilience and the strength that he brings it out. The level of the emotive connectivity that he brought to on the table, speaking to the people, that also sets him apart and this is something I feel this is going to, as I mentioned previously, this is going to inspire the coming generations, or it's going to be a landmark in the history where the people will take inspiration from this tapa, that how we can save our life for such activities in the future.
All right. Well, we've also run out of time. I'm going to take a last comment from Uma Nandanji and then wrap up. Uma Nandanji.
See, they have all been, the Swamiji and all have told very clearly about the steps, the rigorous steps that the Prime Minister has undertaken to perform this Prana Pradishta. And see, as he also rightly said, Mr. Modi ji during the Navratri, his fasting, even when he was abroad on a visit to the US, a few years back, he was following this repeatedly. Every time Mr. Modi upholds the Sanatana Dharmic values and stays as an example, and that is why he is revered by so many, because you even have people calling us Modi bucks. Why not? When a leader of this nation who follows all this and who does not hesitate to proclaim his affiliation to Hinduism, which has previous prime ministers have ridiculed, mocked at, all this, and the Hindu has always been a target of comedy, everything. But here you have a prime minister who has gone beyond all this and who is reviving the Hindu pride. Why can't we rejoice about it? And this this prime minister is taking his task. He has innumerable work. His post demands that he cannot even have an hour free, and a man who has not taken a day off. Perhaps he works for about 20 to 22 hours a day, his official work. From that, taking like this, carrying on with his official work, plus fasting and all the other rigorous steps that is required for one to perform this sacred task. He is doing all this. So why not admire this man, look upon him and see and admit that he is taking Bharat on a different level. And he has successfully done it in the world scene today. What is the respect India gets today? Compare this with how we were looked upon about 10 years ago. There's an obvious difference. So I think we have every right to enjoy, and I think this Ram temple is another reason for us to celebrate this particular function and celebrate the Prime Minister who has been responsible for this.
Well said, ma'am, and you're absolutely right. And in fact, you've taken the words out of my mouth as well. A Prime Minister who takes pride in his culture, in his country and its tradition is, of course, a rarity to see. And like you also said at the beginning of the show, that we're all very, very fortunate enough to witness this particular episode, this grand ceremony in our lifetime. Would like to thank all my guests for being a part of this conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.